Coming up on Takedown with Chris Hansen.
Ultimately, bad guy or gal off the street.
In Traverse City, Michigan, a man with a criminal record shows up in my investigation.
I'm just here for a massage.
And when I confront him, things get heated.
Do I look stupid to you?
Right now, yes.
I look stupid?
Yes.
But I keep my cool with this repeat offender.
I've learned my lesson.
Yet here you are.
Hey everyone, Chris Hansen here. I hope you're enjoying this free full episode of Takedown. But there's something else you need to know. We have almost 100 new episodes on my streaming crime network, WatchTrueBlue.com. Use the code YouTube24 for half off your first month, or YouTube Year for $20 off a full year. We'll see you soon on True Blue.
Traverse City, Michigan, a quaint town on a bay that leads to Lake Michigan. The home of the International Cherry Festival, a vacation paradise, and the location of my latest investigation. Working alongside the Grand Traverse County Sheriff's Office are members of the Traverse City Police Department, Michigan State Police, as well as the GHOST team from Genesee County. Leading the task force is Sheriff Mike Shea, who kicked off the briefing.
Ultimately, bad guy or gal off the street, safe, everybody goes home, and we get a good, clean prosecution.
If you had asked me 20 years ago when we did our first predator investigation if this would go on this long, I wouldn't have believed it.
Don't let the summer tourists and outdoor adventure seekers fool you, because the detectives posing as underage children have been inundated by men looking for sex with minors. One of them is 60-year-old Scott, a former EMS technician from Charlevoix, Michigan, just about an hour from our location. The messages from Scott start off by him asking the detective posing as the teen, what are the donations, and if she's affiliated with any law enforcement. The detective says no, and asks if he is a cop. No is the answer. Now he wants a photo. The detective says she doesn't want her photos online. Scott says he won't post them, and that he likes to be careful, and again make sure she isn't working with the cops. The decoy then says she's not law enforcement and that she's only 15 years old. Scott then reveals a disturbing fact, that he was caught up in a Michigan State Police sting a few years ago. He then asks for the address and again for a photo. The decoy asks him what he wants. Scott says he's just looking for a good time and a nice massage from what he's now been told is a 15-year-old girl. While we wait for Scott to arrive, we learn more about his disturbing past and this previous police sting in which he was caught. In 2018, the Michigan State Police captured nearly 36 men in a prostitution sting, and Scott was one of them. He was arrested, received probation, and a fine. But it's what happened 7 years earlier that is truly shocking and leaves us all on edge. In 2011, an undercover federal agent downloaded child pornography that Scott had made available on the internet. A search warrant of Scott's home and computer exposed a substantial collection of child pornography. Scott pleaded guilty in 2013 to receiving via the internet images and videos of child pornography. He served 4.5 years in a federal prison. He was released in 2022 and was then placed on the sex offender registry. While Scott does not have a history of carrying weapons, we remain extremely vigilant as we monitor his movements when he enters the hotel.
She's coming. Yeah.
The arrest team is ready to strike, and they apprehend Scott quietly and covertly as to not alarm any neighboring guests.
Traverse City, please put your hands up. I'm just here for a massage. I'm just here for a massage. That's all it's here for.
Okay, relax.
You're good.
Hey, what's your name, boss? Look at me.
Scott.
Okay.
You're
under arrest, okay?
All I wanted was a massage. That's all I said.
All right. We good? You okay?
Yeah.
All right. You're under arrest, okay? You understand that?
Okay.
Okay.
Scott seems almost a little too comfortable in handcuffs, but all that is about to change.
Go ahead and have a seat.
And that's because at a dimly lit hotel room desk, Scott is going to have to answer to me.
Hey, Scott, how you doing?
Good.
So, it's sort of my job to kind of understand what you were thinking and how you got here tonight. And I guess I'd like to start by asking you where you were when you started this conversation tonight.
I was at home.
You were at home. So you had worked all day?
Yeah.
And tell me about your day at work.
Started at 7:30 this morning and digging ditches for putting in an irrigation system. And just working hard all day.
Working hard all day. What time did you get home?
8:20, 8:30 maybe.
And so you were at home when this conversation
Yeah.
took place online. And the girl to whom you were talking to online, she said she was 15.
I did not see that in the text. I mean, that's when I was driving, and I just
Well, you said you were at home when you were texting, though.
I started it at home, and then I came down to came down to TC.
You came down to TC, but you started this chat when she would have said she was 15 when you were at home and should have
No.
seen this.
No, that was when I was on the road.
So you were texting and driving on the way here.
Yeah.
How much conversation did you have with her before you got on the road?
I'm not really sure.
You're not really sure.
No.
But she said she was 15. We know that now.
I know that now. I noticed that now, but I did not notice that in the text itself.
A lot of men I've interviewed in this very same situation also claim they didn't see the age in the text messages. I didn't believe them, and I don't believe Scott.
Why did you ask for pictures of her if you just wanted a massage?
Because I guess I'm a guy. I like pretty women.
Right. Pretty 15-year-old woman.
No.
Well, that's how old she said.
I know that's what she said, but I did not see that she said she was 15. If she said that, I would have turned around and gone home.
You would have turned around and gone home. But you didn't.
I didn't, because I did not see that she said she's 15.
I find that hard to believe, Scott, based upon the conversation that I saw.
I don't find it hard to believe because I didn't see it. I overlooked it.
You stopped to buy condoms.
Yeah.
Did you buy anything else?
No, that's all I bought there.
And what's in the pill container that was in your car?
That's mouthwash.
That's mouthwash. In the pill container?
Yeah.
Did you bring any other pills with you? Viagra, anything like that? So you had the Rockstar drinks. You had the condoms. If you were just coming for a massage, why would you even stop to get condoms on the way here?
Because if something else happened, I wanted to be prepared.
You wanted to be prepared. So you were up for more than just a massage.
If that happened, that would happen.
If that happened, and you were going to
All I really
pay.
wanted was a massage, so
But there are other places you can get a massage.
not this late at night.
You could go to mall.
There's no massage place in the mall.
No, tomorrow, I said.
Oh, tomorrow.
How many times have you met women online for sex like this?
Maybe 5, 6, 7 times. Maybe a few more. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
5, 6, 7 times. And as far as you know, were any of these other women underage?
No,
Why tonight?
because I did not see that text. I did not see that part of the text. If, like I said, if I saw that, I would have turned around and gone home.
While I already know about Scott's previous arrests and convictions, I want to hear it from him, a registered sex offender.
Now, as we sit here tonight, Scott, are you a registered sex offender?
Yes.
You are.
Yeah.
And what was the crime that got you to be a registered sex offender?
I was accused of having underage pornography.
You were accused of having child porn.
Yeah.
And how old were the children in these images?
Like I said, I think they're around 16, maybe a little younger. I'm not sure.
You had child porn.
Yeah, I did.
And how did you get the child porn?
Off file sharing program sites.
A file. Why would somebody want child porn?
A lot of the girls that I looked at looked older than the age that they said they were.
Did you plead guilty or did you go to trial and
I pled guilty
you pled guilty? Why did you plead guilty to possessing child porn?
because I had some on my computer.
You had some on your computer. And how do you think those pictures were taken of those girls who were underage?
Some with permission, and probably a lot that weren't with the permission.
Do you understand that every time an image of child pornography is viewed, that is the re-victimization of that child?
Yes.
And you did it.
Yeah.
So you re-victimized these children who are already victims.
I went through therapy. I went to prison, and I went through counseling, and I realized my mistakes.
You realize your mistakes.
Yeah.
What drew you toward child pornography?
I like petite women, and some of the pictures that I thought were actually of age girls weren't, but I still looked at them, and I admit to that.
And that was wrong. And did you go to prison for this?
Yes.
How long were you in prison?
4.5 years.
4.5 years in prison. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Which means you pleaded guilty to a very serious charge.
Yes.
And you pleaded guilty because you were guilty.
Yes.
Because you had child pornography.
Yes.
Did you learn anything from your counseling, your therapy, your
Yes.
prison time?
Yes.
And what did you learn?
I learned that it's wrong, or I knew that it was wrong, but I learned not to do it.
Not to do it. But here you are tonight sitting face to face with me after
And
getting
I
caught
did
trying
not-
to have sex with a 15-year-old
I
girl.
did not know. I did not see that text.
Scott.
I
look stupid to you?
Right now, yes.
I look stupid?
Yes.
I'm the stupid one.
I did not see that text.
You, the registered sex offender with handcuffs on, is telling me I'm
doesn't
stupid?
matter. It doesn't.
It sure as hell matters.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
What do you think's going to happen to you now?
I have no idea.
Because you're a registered sex offender who's already done federal time for child pornography.
Okay. I did my crime. I did my time. I paid I paid for it. I did not see. I overlooked that part of the conversation. If I would have seen that and read that whole text, I would have not come here.
If your intentions were as you suggest, why were you so concerned as to whether or not this girl was with law enforcement?
Because if something else happened, I didn't want to do anything.
What do you mean, if something else happened, I didn't want to do anything?
If it went further from a massage
To having sex?
to having sex, I tried and I didn't want to get into trouble.
You didn't want to get into trouble. Well, if your intention was just to have a massage, then why were you so worried about whether or not this was law
Because if
enforcement?
something else happened, I wanted to be okay with both parties.
Okay. But you were concerned that this was law enforcement.
I asked a question, I wondered.
Yet you came anyway.
Yes, I did.
So that suggests to me, Scott, that maybe you didn't learn from your 4 years in federal prison, from your therapy,
Didn't learn what?
to not be a predator.
I'm not a predator. Well,
You're
how
here.
am I a predator?
You had a conversation with someone who told you she was 15.
I did not see
and
that
you came
part
over
of the
here
text.
with condoms.
I did not see that part of the text.
Do you know how many times I hear that, Scott?
I don't really care how many times you hear it.
You should.
I'm saying right now, the truth is, I did not see that part of the text.
Tell me about the sting with the Michigan State Police.
It was the same as it is right now.
Same as this right now.
Yeah.
And what was the scenario? Tell me about that.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
And what was the charge? Underage girl?
No.
Just prostitution.
I got 3 months probation and a $500 fine for contacting a prostitute.
Contacting a prostitute. And was that online?
Yes.
And was that a similar app like the one you used tonight?
It was the one they used to have Backpage.
Backpage. And how long ago was that?
That was in 2018,
2018.
I think.
So right around 2018, you went on Backpage. And what happened? What did you do?
I met with an escort.
You met with an escort.
Well, I thought it was an escort, and it was a state police sting.
And was that at a hotel, or
Yes.
what was that? Help me to understand why you would risk it again and come here tonight.
I live, well, I was living by myself, but I got a roommate, but he's moving out, and I'm social, I don't want to say socially inept, but I can't just go out and meet people. It's easier to meet people or meet women that's their job. It's, okay, I meet you, hi, excuse me, we have our conversation, we do what we do, and then it's done. Excuse me.
So you prefer prostitutes as opposed to
I don't pref-
socializing and meeting?
I don't prefer, I guess I don't have game, whatever.
You don't have Riz game. How old are you?
I am 60.
And you were an EMS tech or paramedic at one point?
I was, a specialist.
And what did you do when you worked for EMS?
And I treated people.
You treated people. So you had medical training.
Yes.
How long were you with the EMS?
10 years,
10 years. And why did you leave?
because I went to prison.
Because you went to prison. And during all the, what prison did you go to? Which federal prison?
I went to Englewood out in Colorado.
In Colorado. How did they treat you there?
Okay.
Did the other inmates know you were there for child porn?
Yeah.
And was that a problem?
Well, a lot of the people there were people accused of having child pornography.
Did you associate with some of the other people who were convicted of having child porn?
During our counseling and the program we had to go through, but I thought of a lot of the people there that they had that denial.
Denial.
That I didn't have any of this on my computer. I don't know why I'm in prison. I kept on telling them, it's like, you have to admit what you did first, and then some healing can come.
Here's the thing. People who interview predators, sex offenders in prisons will say without question, there's a link between guys like you who view and have child pornography and offending, which is what you got caught for doing tonight. That this fantasy develops sometimes with the viewing of child pornography, and then a guy like you perhaps crosses the line between fantasy and reality and then has to have sex with.
I have never crossed the line from fantasy.
You did tonight.
I did, like I said, I did not see that portion of the text.
All right, what do you think should happen to you, Scott?
Well, what I think should happen is get charged with maybe meeting with an escort or whatever, but nothing to do with underage, because I did not see that portion.
I hear that a lot.
I don't really care if you hear it a lot. I'm telling the truth.
And now it's my turn to drop my truth.
Well, Scott, there's something you need to know, and that is I'm Chris Hansen, and we do stories on men who get caught in sting operations like this.
Yeah.
Have you seen the shows?
No.
We do a series of investigations called Takedown with Chris Hansen, and you're on it.
I have not. I've never heard of it.
Okay.
And I've never seen it.
Is there anything else you want people to know about your situation?
That I didn't come here to meet with an underage girl.
But you looked at the transcripts and you saw that.
I saw it now. When you're texting and driving, do you see everything you're texting?
Well, that's why you're not supposed to text and
I know.
And that's why you're not supposed to have child porn, and that's why you're not
I don't have child porn.
meet people for sex.
I don't have child porn. I'm not a
did.
predator. I did.
But it all adds up to being a predator.
What does it add up to being a predator for?
Child porn, meeting somebody underage for sex.
I didn't see that age on there.
Your
Like I said-
situation
like
does
I
not
s-
look good.
I know it doesn't look good, but if I saw that portion of the text, I would not have come here.
In a first for me, Scott then turns offender advocate in a twisted way.
And putting people into categories and saying that everybody who has this type of charge, they're all the same, that's wrong. You have to look at individuals also. If you put all people that have killed somebody in the same category, you're getting someone who hit a pedestrian by accident and someone who went out and murdered 10 people all in the same category.
Do you think you have a problem still?
No, I don't.
Not at all.
I do not. Excuse me, I do not.
Some would hear that and say, Scott, you're in denial.
I'm not in denial. I don't have a problem with that.
No child porn on your phone.
No child porn on my phone.
None on your computer.
None on my computer.
Anything else you want people to know?
That I'm not a predator.
Okay.
That I do not. I've learned my lesson. There's no child porn on anything. Computer, phone, nothing.
Yet here you are.
Yet here I am because I didn't see a portion of a text.
All right. Well, Scott, I appreciate you talking to me.
Just when I thought I was done with Scott, he wasn't done pleading his case.
But I don't mind talking to you, but I do not like the aggressiveness that you came after me at, trying to put me in a category where I don't deserve to put in that category.
I know, but you see how this looks.
I know how it looks. I know exactly how it looks. If somebody were to open that text up and read it all, they're going like, "Holy crap!" But
that's what happened.
Yeah, but I'm saying I missed that portion of the conversation. Texting and driving, which I'm not supposed to do. I missed a portion, and then here I am. But 1, I'm not a predator. 2, I learned my lesson. 3, I would never meet with anybody underage.
Well, as adamant as you seem, the evidence would indicate otherwise.
But I did not see that portion of the text. I'll take a lie detector right now saying I did not see that portion of the text. I'll do any test you want me to.
Yet you were concerned about whether or not this was law enforcement.
Yeah, because if something else happened other than a massage, I didn't want it to be a problem with her or me.
But as a registered sex offender, somebody who has done prison time, why take the risk and come out here?
What does it matter if I'm a registered sex offender or not? Why not? No.
Go
No.
ahead.
Hold on one minute. Hold on one minute.
Fair enough.
He comes down here doing the same thing I did. Are you going to put a label on him too?
But let's take it to its most basic level. Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Given the fact that you've done time for a crime, given the fact that you are a registered sex offender, let's say parole for any crime, why take the chance by coming out tonight and breaking a law? You see what I'm saying? It puts you at risk. Your decisions tonight put you at risk.
It would put anybody at risk.
I understand. So take the rest of it out of just for a second. Why take the risk when you know it could put you back in prison?
I don't know. I just can't say. I can't give you a reason.
You see what I'm saying? Take the crimes specifically out of it and just say, there are crimes. I have to report based upon my past. I was concerned as to whether or not this was law enforcement, yet I came anyway. What does that say?
Lack of judgment.
And that taints the whole thing, is the reality. Because if you had that lack of judgment, what does that say about, the rest of this? Your story or your claim that you didn't see the age?
Because that like I said, bring a polygraph in here right now, and I will pass it saying that I did not see that portion of the text.
Be that as it may, you still put yourself at risk.
Yes, I did.
And now you're going to have to pay the price for it.
I'm going to.
What's your biggest regret as we sit here tonight, Scott?
making the decision to come down here.
You took a big risk.
Yes.
You rolled the dice.
Yep, and I lost.
Thank you for talking to me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
While my interview with Scott was over, the Grand Traverse County Sheriff's Office had one more thing to discuss.
So Mr. Hansen talked to you for just a little bit. I went through the text messages with you, right? And you acknowledged you remember sending all the texts that you sent.
No.
Right. So you sent a text, she sent the text about 15, and you replied to that text, right? Okay.
But yeah.
And
but,
on iPhones, you're familiar with iPhones because you own an iPhone, right?
yeah.
Remember how on iPhones it shows the message read? It says read, sent, delivered, that kind of thing when you send text?
No.
Okay, it says read.
Yeah.
And you're the only one with your phone tonight. So I have to act based on the information that you did read it. Okay?
Yeah.
Not trying to be mean to you, I'm just being honest and straight with you. You are going to go to jail tonight. Okay?
Scott was charged with child sexually abusive activity, accosting a child for immoral purposes, and using a computer to commit a crime. He was also charged with violating his probation. Scott was taken away to the Grand Traverse County Jail, and when investigators took a good hard look at his phone, they found child pornography. And while that revelation may not come as a surprise to you, me, or the sheriff's detectives, he'll now also be charged with possession of child sexually abusive material. We'll keep you posted on the case against him.
You have a guy who did 4 years in federal prison for possessing child pornography. He did therapy. He's a registered sex offender to this day, yet he came here tonight. Adamant as he is that he didn't see the age, he still came here. So what does that say about his risky behavior? I think you know.
As a native of Traverse City, Michigan, Sheriff Mike Shea understands the magnitude of capturing repeat offenders like Scott.
We had a man surface in this investigation, 60 years old, a registered sex offender who had been convicted of possessing child pornography, did 4 years in federal prison, then got busted again in an adult prostitution sting by the Michigan State Police. And here he is, coming to meet a 15-year-old girl in this sting. What does that say about this man?
Tells me that I don't think you can rehabilitate him, and it wasn't an accident, and he is a true predator. And he needs to be taken off the street. And I'm thankful to say we were able to do it.
What do you think would have happened had we not been there and a real 15-year-old girl had been present?
She would have been victimized.
By this man with a criminal history.
Absolutely. And Lord knows how many other victims there are out there that unfortunately were victimized before we were able to get to this guy.
Scott claimed that he didn't see the girl's age of 15 years old, but Sheriff Shea knows that digital forensics don't lie.
He claims he didn't see the number. He was driving and texting. He didn't see that the decoy said it was a 15-year-old girl. You buy that?
No. No. Our operations are very, very clear and specific. The guidelines are very clear. There is no doubt what the intent is if you arrive at our location. There is no way that anyone will ever convince me that they had no knowledge of the age.
Come to find out, your investigators went through his phone and found that he had deleted on his end any incriminating texts that he sent, including ones that he received about the age.
Yep.
He acknowledged it.
Yeah. Why would you do that if you didn't see the age? I don't buy it. He's lying.
In our investigations into potential child predators, or in Scott's case, a registered sex offender, what these men do for a living is most of the time disturbing.
The fact that he was a landscaper, a former EMS tech, and now he's in people's yards, and folks don't know anything about his background. He just goes there and does the work, or he's at a business doing the work. That's a little bit frightening.
Yeah. It's very unearthing. You know, I like it to a lion is a predator. and they're in the shadows lurking, and their victims don't even know they're out there until they pounce. And when you have these individuals in your yard working on your landscape, are they watching in the windows? Are they watching your children play in the yard? They're watching. They're looking for an opportunity to prey on our kids.
What should happen to this guy?
They need to be put through the judicial system, and in the case of these repeat offenders, that needs to be taken into consideration to the maximum degree, and they need to be removed from society, period. That's the only way you are going to ensure that our children and families are safe.
And Sheriff Shea says that investigations like this in Traverse City, Michigan send a clear and strong message.
Why is it important to conduct a sting operation like this in Traverse City, Michigan, Grand Traverse County?
Because I don't care where you're at, there are bad people out there. And not only as sheriff, but as a father, I want to do everything in my power to protect our kids and our citizens. These predators exist, and they're in the shadows. And the message we want is we're watching, and we're going to do everything in our power to catch you so that we can make our area safe and we can take care of our kids, our fellow brothers and sisters. But they exist. Mark my word, they are everywhere.
WatchTrueBlue.com is home to the full library of Takedown with Chris Hansen, true crime documentaries, and exclusive investigations.